Hi, my name is Haley Wolf, and today I will be explaining how American women used the power of music to their advantage from 1941 to 1945, or in other words, during World War II. So, for some background information, World War II lasted about 6 years and it involved more than 30 countries across the globe. During the time of the war, only men ages 18 to 45 were drafted, which actually made up a majority of the working population in the United States at the time. This left many women to fend for themselves. Women were expected to step up and complete the tasks that the men left behind. They were responsible for manufacturing equipment, fixing boats, tanks, and airplanes, and clerical work. They were basically in charge of tying down the fort while the men were off overseas. Without the help of women, the United States would not have been successful during the war, and I can say that confidently. As mentioned in the previous slide, women were a vital part in the success of the United States during the war. They stepped up to help the country in extraordinary and very unexpected ways. However, the stress of losing their beloved families put a strain on many of these women. Music was an essential piece in helping these women cope with their new lives. Women used music to persevere through challenges of their own, inspire American troops, and unite the country as a whole. Women used music as an escape for reality. With the war taking away family members and loved ones, women had to do something to get through this very hard, tough time. A whole new genre of music was actually created as a result of this. The purpose of this genre was to provide relief for women whose families were fighting in the war. Many accounts taken from women from this time say that they couldn't have done it without the motivation and inspiration music provided for them. An example of this specific kind of thing would be from a girl named Lisa. I read her expert, and she basically wrote about her experience in the war and the impact music had on it. She specifically wrote that she experienced solace at the piano. Women also used music to get them through the long days at the factories. They sang in work groups and listened to music on loudspeakers. The music acted as a stimulus for these women. Pictured below is one of the many talented individuals that actually contributed to the war. Her name is Mary Eames. She was a talented musician and writer. The image below is an image of an actual newspaper clipping from June 11th, 1941. The title of the excerpt read, "Women Created Two War Songs." The newspaper wrote about Eames and her efforts to prepare the United States for war. The songs mentioned in the article were "To Hell with Hitler Now" and "My Pilot Lover." Both songs were created to inspire and kind of provide relief to those affected by war, both at home on the mainland and overseas fighting. However, her songs, in my opinion, hit closer to the women affected by the war. Her song, "My Pilot Lover," is even written in the point of view of a woman whose husband left and was away at war. And I feel like many women could really relate to this song, which made it very popular at the time, along with other similar songs written by a variety of different artists. Women really used music to inspire the troops to keep fighting hard overseas as well. Many women became famous for their pieces that helped with that. One of the most famous being Ella Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald worked for the USO at the time of the war. The USO is the United Service Organization, and it was formed in April of 1941. The purpose of it was to provide entertainment, boost morale, and kind of provide a home away for home for those serving overseas. Although with their everlasting selfless acts and support for their country, Ella Fitzgerald and many other African Americans performers experienced mass discrimination, and some of the events even hosted by the USO were discriminated and segregated, which is absolutely ridiculous. Other songs written by women were also inspired troops. Many of these songs included disses at rivals of the United States, which at the time included Japan, Italy, Germany. And then a famous example would be "To Hell with Hitler Now," which was actually mentioned on the previous slide, and it was written by Mary Eames. So this picture below is a real picture, and it is of a all-female band. It was actually a military band. It was known as the Band of Sisters, and this band was used to recruit women into service, promote goodwill about women serving in the military, and perform for war bond drives. These women also entertained injured troops and served as some of the first music therapists our country had really ever seen, which is really, really cool. Another purpose of music during the war was to unite the United States in order to become one powerful aligned force. Famous folk tales and songs came out at this time in order to provide that unison we were looking for. One of these famous songs was Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, and it was written by a trio of sisters and even is commonly known today. Almost a century later, it was like seen on the radio. I've heard it on the radio, I've danced to it, which is really cool. Songs such as this one were commonly sung around the entire country. Jazz bands were also very powerful during this time. It was a common point of interest amongst the country as a whole. All different races, all different classes, all genders, all ages. It was really cool. Many jazz singers at this time were women, some of the most famous being Mary Lou Williams and Billy Rogers. Women became part of the military also in order to provide entertainment, which also united the two groups because we were coming back into one. In conclusion, without music, the United States would not have the strength and unison needed to be successful in the war whatsoever. Women and music contributed significantly to help out their country. Without it, we would have no resilience, determination, inspiration. Women really helped with all of that, and they really stepped up when the country needed them the most, which is really, really cool. Here's my works cited. Thank you.